Welcome to another episode of the Cynical Writer. Before we get started, I just want to remind everyone that the best way to support this channel is to purchase my books, and I've left some links in the description section in case you're interested. Now, how can weather be used to evoke atmosphere in literature? Because frankly, this is something that a lot of writers struggle with. And unfortunately, I think that a lot of modern writers, and also just a lot of creative artists in general, whether you're talking about directors in movies or writers or musicians, a lot of people struggle with creating atmosphere. I think it's because in modern society, there's this notion that only a bare bones approach can work when it comes to creating any kind of work of art, that somehow only the story matters, and that anything that gets in the way of that, whether it's atmosphere or poetry or anything else, anything that gets in the way of the story is somehow a distraction. Well, I don't see it that way. I've never seen things that way. I frankly think that that's a very shallow way of understanding what art is and how art should be created. I think that atmosphere is one of the most important things about reading a book or watching a movie or listening to a piece of music or anything. And I think it's unfortunate that many modern writers don't see that, mainly because a lot of modern writers, frankly, don't learn about their past. A lot of modern filmmakers don't learn about their past. So many people don't actually take the time to learn about their past. Well, today I'm here to basically give you some examples of what I think constitutes good atmosphere in literature, because of course my specialty is literature, so I can't talk about film as much. I mean, I can talk about it, but it would mainly be from an amateur perspective. So I'm going to stick to literature today. And one way I think that weather can be used to evoke atmosphere in books is that the weather should be intertwined with the psychological states of the characters. I think that's the best way to go about it. And very often, I also think it's a good idea when weather takes on human-like characteristics, or when lighting takes on human-like characteristics, because as humans, we can relate to that in a way that we can't if the weather or the lighting or whatever is more abstract, it's more distant. And so I think that it's better to intertwine the weather and the atmosphere with the psychological complexities of the characters. And just to give you some examples, I think this passage in my book Mournful Wanderer, I evoked weather, I think, to a very, I guess you could say, high degree. The passage reads, the frigid air, aided by the shadows of twilight, caused her skin to succumb to a series of rhythmic quivers. While passing through the narrow doorway, Alice sensed the faint precursors of dawn. The surrounding shadows, although still quite potent, had lost a certain degree of fervency. Little by little, the precursors of dawn filled the empty darkness with shadings of pale sapphire, illuminating the corridor that resided within her faint frame of vision. As Alice's eyelids rolled back, her pupils widened, seemingly free from the darkness that had previously dominated them. Now, I think that's a very good use of weather and atmosphere, and the reason is that it's very obviously told through her perspective, because I'm not giving you really a clear indication that the sun is coming up, but what's happening is that she's seeing shadings of pale sapphire. Things are becoming lighter. And suddenly her eyes are widening, which is an implication that her senses are coming to life in a way, and ultimately that is to represent, I guess you could say, a change in the overall ambiance of the scene. And so I think that's a very good representation of atmosphere. Mainly because I think that when you try to, I guess you could say, unify certain elements, whether it's shadows or the properties of dawn or blue light or shadings of pale sapphire, whatever it is, when you try to mix certain different elements of nature together, that can create a very vivid picture in the reader's mind. And that's one of the reasons why I consider that to be one of the best chapters in the book, at least when it comes to atmosphere. So that's just one example. I can give you many others as well. Well, I hope you enjoyed my speech for today. Like I said before, if you would like to support this channel, you can purchase my books in the description section. Don't forget to subscribe, and until next time, goodbye.